our recent Ask Misti Monday, somebody asked this question. What was the biggest thing I had ever manifested? And I wasn't 100% honest. It was actually this Mardi Gras float.
So everywhere else in the world, today is just Tuesday. But for all of us in New Orleans, it is Mardi Gras. And honestly, when you live in New Orleans, you either love Mardi Gras and you're all in, or you're not a huge fan because you can't get anywhere. The neighborhood that our house is in New Orleans, it's pretty much locked up in a grid because the streets have to be closed down early. People are out barbecuing in the middle of the road. So thank goodness for me and my family, we love Mardi Gras. It's such a time for all of us to get together and enjoy each other's company. And the quick story about how I manifested this Mardi Gras float, which is quite honestly the biggest thing structurally that I've ever manifested. Oh wait, maybe not. Maybe a house would be the biggest thing. I keep thinking of bigger and bigger things that I've been able to manifest since that initial question. From our Ask Misti Monday series, what was the biggest thing I ever manifested? And so now that I'm thinking about it, it was a house. So that is actually bigger than a float. Okay, so back to the float though. So for years, I stood in a neighborhood, much like the one that I live in, watching a parade go by every year for St. Patrick's Day and with a family. And I said to the family, we should get our own Mardi Gras float and we should do the St. Patrick's Day parade every year. We all love it. One of the husbands, it was his birthday. It was a big celebration. And I thought that that would be a fun thing for all of us to do together one year. And so I said, I'm going to get a float. We're going to find one. And we didn't find one the first year, but we did find a trailer that another friend of ours let us build a float on. And the family that I actually had originally thought would ride with me, they said, we love having the party so much. And when you ride by, you can throw us a whole bunch of stuff and the kids will be so excited. So we're not going to ride with you, but anything that you need as far as help or anything, we're going to do that. And so then I enlisted the help of my very best BFF. And we decided that we wanted to put an all-ladies crew together that would ride every single year for St. Patrick's Day. And then the following year, we are driving down the highway, and I said, I really do not want to rent a float forever because it's very expensive to rent a float. We have to decorate the whole entire thing in a day or two, and then we have to stay behind after we've had many adult beverages and clean up that mess and make sure that everything is tucked away tight so we can get our refund back. So after doing that for 2 years, I was ready to find a float. But I know it's hard to believe, but Mardi Gras floats are not necessarily easy to come by. And I just kept telling myself that we were going to get one. We were going to get a Mardi Gras float. We were either going to get one that had been retired from a major crew, or that we would get a couple of construction guys that we knew to build us one and then have an artist come refinish the outside. I knew that it was going to come, but I did not know how and I did not know when. I just knew that I wanted it before March 17th, the following year, which was 15 years ago this March. So I am driving down the road, not far from my house, but not a way that I normally would go. Turned off on this highway to cut through to get away from some interstate traffic, and I see 2 Mardi Gras floats parked side by side. One was in absolutely deplorable condition, and the other one looked like a giant pirate ship, which was totally up my alley. I know it sounds crazy for a St. Patrick's Day parade, but I had this whole theme running in my head of how we were going to be like winches. And so we pulled over, me and my girlfriend, and we called the guy, and he said that he was going to sell the float, and he wanted $1,000 for it. And I said, well, we've rented a float for $1,000, so we can certainly buy this one, and we'll just have to go with this theme for this year, and then next year we'll change it into whatever we want it, because the trailer is the big expense. So we did that. We paraded through the town, and we had our pirate parade, and we had these 22 beautiful girls with us. And so from that point on, a very good friend of mine, my friend Kelly, she is a woman that you want to be in charge of your paperwork. She is very, very knowledgeable about a lot of things, and she's also very loving and wants to make sure that we stay safe and that all of our paperwork was in order. That is not my specialty. And so Kelly came on as the secretary of our crew, and she helped us LLC it. And so I would like to introduce you to the crew of Lucky Bitches over the years here. That's all these photos that you've seen are from many wonderful rides that we've had on this Mardi Gras float that I manifested for our group 15 years ago. And so if you ever get the chance, the Sunday before St. Patrick's Day, to come to Slidell, Louisiana and enjoy the Irish Italian parade, make sure you look for our float, but it does change every year. Our theme this year is not going to be a barn. We're going to turn this red barn into the School of Rock, and we will be some fun-loving schoolgirls up there on our Mardi Gras float. But for today, we're going to go out and catch some beads so that we can recycle and throw. And I hope that wherever you are in the entire world, that you can hold a glass up for all of us here in New Orleans, and you can say, Happy Mardi Gras!